And I'm not saying no, but I need you to go, 'cause you know what I like in the devil inside. Work on West one more time.
All right, everybody, welcome to Behind the Roots, a brand new series we're going to be doing on our YouTube channel where we interview grassroots racer. Today I got Ryan Matthews, a young guy who races around Richmond area. I went to school with him. So, yeah, Ryan, introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name's Ryan Matthews. I started racing at 5 years old, and I started in the go-karts. And then at the age of 15, I made the move up to legend cars. And we had a successful few years in that. We picked up a bunch of wins in 2019 and 2020, so that was pretty awesome. And now we're moving up once more to the late model class. So, um, you know, grassroots racing is where like the real racing's at. A lot of the bigger cup stuff is all, that's not the truest racing you can get. So, the grassroots racing is definitely where it's at.
Grassroots racing is definitely where it's at. I always enjoyed going to Southside Speedway for races. Sucks that they got shut down. Wanted to make my way up to Dominion, South Boston, Langley, and all them. I know you do a bunch of racing around like Langley, Dominion, and then you've also made your way down to the Charlotte's Legend Oval. What's it like racing at Charlotte in front of the big stands and such a big event they have going on in the summer?
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. Our first time, we didn't really know what to expect going down there, and we're not with a team or anything. We just do it by ourselves. So, I went and made a few laps on iRacing just to kind of get the hang of it and get a feel for the track. And going down there, the travel was awesome. It was like 4.5 hours long, but we went by a lot of NASCAR teams, and then once we got to the track, like I said, I'd never been there before. I didn't have anybody to go off of. So, it was definitely a learning curve, but we actually won our first race down there, and it was in the rain also. So that was pretty interesting. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, when you see the NASCAR races on TV there, the track looks, I guess you could say, I mean, it looks big on TV, but when you get there in person, the track's so much bigger, and um, it just going down the front straightaway. Obviously, we get down the front straightaway, and then we go down the pit road as the Legends Oval. So, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I've tried racing that Legends Oval on iRacing and never found much luck on it. It's definitely pretty tough. But you mentioned iRacing, you're sitting in front of your wheel right now. How has you seen like iRacing transfer over to the real life Legends and late models?
Yeah, I think it's a good tool for really any of the real life classes. I mean, it's pretty realistic, and it's only going to get better in the future. I definitely think that as the years go on, it's going to get way better, and a lot more people are going to use it as a tool to practice and prepare for races. And I think it's going to be like the next big thing. I think iRacing is going to be the next big thing. So not in the next 5 years, but maybe like 15, 20 years down the road, I think it's going to be like the next NASCAR level. So it's pretty interesting, how the technology works and all that. But like you said, um, I use it. I play on it every day. It's just so much fun for me, and it definitely helps me out during the off season to kind of stay fresh with my moves and all that, and just get prepared for the next racing season to come.
Yeah, that's really all people had to rely on this offseason. They had the Pro Invitational on the high up NASCAR levels. Then a bunch of people started leagues. You were telling me you started your own league doing pretty much everything. So explain on that.
Yeah, I started a league with another one of my buddies from Langley, and we ran at Langley Speedway with a bunch of different cars. We ran the Legends, the street stocks, the late models, and the modifieds, all weekly classes that they run there in real life. So we did 10 or 12 week season. I can't quite remember. Um, so that was pretty interesting. And we had a bunch of guys from Langley that race there in real life. Excuse that, but race in the league, and so that was pretty cool just to get to race with them since we couldn't race in real life due to COVID, obviously. But besides that, I started up a short track team with one of my friends that I met off of iRacing. That actually turned into one of my really good friends in real life. His name is Justin LeDuc. So we started up a team on iRacing, and it's definitely progressed over the year or so. And a lot of people consider us one of the top or better short track teams on the service. So that's pretty amazing. And just looking forward to what iRacing has for the future.
So let's hop back on the real racing track. So you're making the switch from legends to late models this year. What are you most looking forward to in that switch?
Yeah, just getting the exposure. I think legend cars get a lot of exposure, but I think the late models just get that much more. And if I can just get my name out there a little bit more with the late models, I think that's the main goal. And we've tested a little bit over the off season, and they're two completely different cars to drive, and so it's definitely going to be interesting. Now that I've gotten to drive a late model, I don't really want to go back to a legend car, but they're both really fun to drive. But I think the main thing going to late models is just getting that little bit more exposure to the rest of the racing world, and hopefully get a better opportunity to move up in racing or something along those lines.
So what's your favorite track around like Central Virginia to go race at? You got a lot to choose from around here.
Yeah, I think I'd have to say my favorite from Virginia. Obviously Southside's a really good short track. But it's I haven't had the best luck, so I think just that's probably not one of my favorites. But I have to go with Langley. We won the championship there in 2019 and won a bunch of races last year. So, it's a really driver's track. You can have the best car out there, but if you don't know how to get around there, then you're not going to be up front. So, um, and just all the history that's happened there, that's got to be my favorite.
All right, go back to racing with people. What's like the biggest name driver? I know a bunch of like big time NASCAR guys come down and race legends, especially in like the summer shootout down in Charlotte. What's like the biggest name guy that you've raced with?
Um, it's hard to say. I can't remember quite everyone I've raced against with. I know Bubba Wallace was there during the shootout, racing legends. Um, and there's been a few K&N. I've raced against Mason Diaz. He's a Xfinity. He's actually going to be driving Xfinity this year, so that's pretty cool. There's a few more K&N ARCA guys out there that truck guys that I race against. But I think definitely seeing Bubba Wallace get back in a legend car, he's a really huge name, and obviously Mason Diaz as well.
I gotcha. That's awesome. So let's look into the future. Where do you see the future of grassroots racing going?
Definitely, I think it's kind of hard to say, but with it's just getting way too expensive, and I'm not trying to talk down about it, but the costs are getting expensive, and it's just getting overpriced, and it's definitely killing the sport. If you look at the I guess you could say charts over the last few years, you can definitely see the car counts have dropped down a bunch, and it's unfortunate, but um, it's gonna slowly die out. And like I said earlier, I think it's gonna turn more into to iRacing as like the main like starting your racing career and all that. I think that's where it's gonna head towards in the next 20 or so years.
Yeah, some of the grassroots racing is the best racing. Short track racing on a weekly basis is nothing compared. is everything compared to the Cup Series race, and sometimes it's a lot better than the Cup Series racing. But you're making a name for yourself. You're out there winning races, winning championships. So keep it up, and hope to see you in the Cup Series in a couple years.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me on here. And, I wish you and the other guy the best of luck with this podcast.
Appreciate it.